My beloved child, I have watched you lift your eyes to the sky again and again, while your heart grows heavy. You do not know that I am already there, not to leave you restless, not to frighten you, but so you may see the wonder I am quietly working in your life. I long for you to pause, not to stare at the pain, but to behold the beauty your heart has misplaced amid your sighs. You have locked yourself inside a cage of your own making, where you are both the prisoner and the guard. You are weary of the voice in your head insisting that you must be strong, must be worthy, must never make another mistake. Yet you do not see that in your chase after perfection, you have abandoned your own soul, the place where I wait for you, gentle and patient. This invisible cage is not the chain of fate, but the dust you have scattered over your own trust. You think the Father has gone quiet, that he slipped away during your desperate prayers. But my child, I have never left you. I will never leave you nor forsake you, Hebrews 1:3-5. My silence is not an empty space. It is where I invite you to grow still enough to hear your heart beating in rhythm with mine. When you can no longer hear it, is not because I am not speaking. It is because your heart is crowded with fear. The fear of being abandoned has made you brace yourself even against God. You raise walls and call them steadfast faith, when in truth they are the shrinking of a soul that has lost its trust in mercy. You fear to love, fear to believe, fear to hope again, so you choose to be silent before grace. You do not know that I am standing just outside that wall, not knocking, only waiting for you to open. For if I tore the wall down, you would only build another. But if you open it yourself, I will come in not to punish, but to touch the wound you keep trying to hide. You think the Father's silence means distance, so you draw inward, live, guarded, and close your heart even to what is good. You even pray by habit, though inwardly you have stopped believing that wonder might still break in. Just when you feel most forsaken, you forget that faith truly lives when it is tested in silence. In that very darkness, I am teaching you to trust without proof, to love without bargaining, and to live without needing to vindicate yourself. My child, the illusion of abandonment is the first crack that leads your mind away from truth. You assume I do not answer, so you try to do everything by your own strength until you tire, close your heart, and the light fades from your eyes. You forget that I never keep silent to leave you, but to heal you. I do not withdraw. I am standing within your tears, quietly sowing the seeds of peace. In the days that seem most barren, grace is already sprouting. You need only stop resisting so you can hear my whisper within. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, Isaiah 4:3-2. From here I will lead you into a journey of unmasking each layer of the invisible cage, calling you out of illusion, out of the sweetness of pride, out of the shackles of your past, and the fear of comparison, so that you may truly live by my rhythm. My dear one, I know there are nights when you lie still, hardly daring to breathe, afraid that the sound of your own heart will make your loneliness more stark. You assume I have left you, that your petitions dissolve into nothing, but you do not see that in those very silences I am teaching you another language, the language of trust, when there is nothing left to cling to. I do not ask you to be so strong that you forget how to weep, nor do I want your tears hidden beneath a mask of calm. For only when you dare to admit your weakness can you hear my tender voice rising from the depths. When you are weak, then my power is made perfect in you, 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. Often it is the fear of abandonment that makes you create the distance between us. You retreat and shrink back, and then you assign to me the image of a distant, cold deity. Yet you do not know that when you close your heart, mine aches all the more like a father standing outside a door. You have locked, hearing your sobs and unable to enter. You say the Father says nothing. Perhaps he has forgotten me. But I am speaking still. You simply cannot hear, for your mind is crowded with reproach, comparison, and self-judgment. At times I must keep silence, so you will cease your noise and learn that presence does not always need to prove itself with sound. I understand there are wounds that no longer bleed yet still throb when memory returns. You carry them thinking I would touch them, only to make them hurt more, so you hide them, and you begin to live on guard against love, even against grace. Afraid of being hurt again, you learn not to trust, not to open, not to hope. But my child, faith is not the avoidance of pain. It is the courage to let me place my hand upon what has been shattered. Only when you are still will I stitch with my love what you thought was ruined forever. Then there are moments you ask, if you are still here, why am I so alone? You do not yet understand that loneliness is not a punishment but the beginning of a true encounter. I lead you through the valley of emptiness, not to test you but to teach you to discern my voice from the echo of your fears. You once imagined, my love must blaze like a miracle, yet sometimes it wears the shape of waiting, quiet, steadfast, without words, without conditions, so that when you return you will know I never left. Beloved child, do not live under the illusion that I have gone away. You are breathing the very air of grace and simply have not noticed. Every heartbeat, every breath, every shaft of morning light bears witness that I am here. You think I am silent, but I am whispering through the small turns of each day. I speak in the language of slowness, of time, of peace, the very things the world despises, because they are not loud or dazzling. My peace I give to you, not as the world gives do I give to you, John 1:4-7. If you will listen with trust instead of fearful ears, you will see that I have never ceased to speak. I know some of my ways bewilder you, and at times you feel as though I am set against you. But faith is not born in ease. It matures in adversity. The more you struggle to understand everything, the more you become lost in your own reasoning. Let me teach you to trust even when I am still. For silence is not refusal. It is the way I train your soul so that when the promise arrives, you will be grown enough to receive it. In time you will see that no child is abandoned, only a child learning to read love in a new tongue. And when you have learned to listen within the quiet, you will watch illusions melt like morning mist. You will stop blaming me, stop blaming life, stop blaming yourself. Then you will understand that the cage was never built by me, but by the fear within your heart. As your mind is freed, you will recognize me not only in the spectacular, but in the smallest things, a gentle glance, a word of forgiveness, a quiet morning. There you will find my rhythm again. Step out of the invisible cage and begin the deep journey of healing. For when you no longer believe you are forsaken, you will feel no need to prove yourself. You will stop straining to appear strong, stop building fences around your heart, stop living to the cadence of fear. Only when you know you belong will you finally release the past, release self-condemnation, release the illusion that I have forgotten you. And that is the very moment I can reach you deeply, closely, truly. From that surrender, a different light will take root, not dazzling but warm. It will lead you into another country of the heart where you no longer have to control everything, where you know that every good thing flows from me. And there you will learn to walk again, not by your own strength, but by my very breath. My child, I have seen how you have tried until exhaustion just to prove that you could stand on your own without anyone to hold you up. You have not realized that with every effort you have clothed yourself in a quiet pride. What you call courage is often only fear of being seen as weak. You have wrestled with the wind, with life, with pain itself, and named it strength. Yet you have forgotten true strength is not measured by how long you can endure, but by your willingness to admit that you cannot go on without me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him bears much fruit, for apart from me you can do nothing. John 1:5-5. I know the world teaches you to be first, to be capable, to be in control, to succeed. So you have learned to steer everything yourself, even your faith. You have turned me into a part of your plan instead of recognizing that you are part of mine. You pray not to find peace, but to ask for miracles on your own terms. You do not see that in demanding my will to follow yours, your soul loses the natural rhythm of surrender. My child, surrender is not defeat. It is the return to the land of peace, where you need not prove, need not control, only trust. There are moments when you succeed, rejoice, and forget to give thanks. You think every achievement is the fruit of your own effort, saying, I worked hard, so I deserve what I have today. But you do not see that behind every opportunity, every breath, every person you meet, I have been arranging everything with delicate precision. You receive the flower, forgetting where the seed came from. You breathe, not remembering that I am the one keeping your lungs alive. You see only the effort you have given, but not the hand that held you when you had no strength left. And when you are most confident that you control your life, that is when you drift farthest from me. I do not blame you, for I know your pride is not born of malice, but of fear. You are afraid of being belittled, afraid of dependence, afraid that if you are not strong or excellent, you will be left behind. So you wear the garment of self-reliance, both as armor and disguise. But my child, that garment is heavy, isn't it? You think it gives you confidence, but it only weighs you down, pulling you away from my embrace. I stand here still not to expose you, but to remind you that true strength is not in striving, but in yielding through trust. If only you could understand, you have nothing to prove before me. I do not love you because of what you do, but because you are mine. When you are weak, I draw near. When you are weary, I grow gentle. The more you try to stand alone, the quieter I become, not to abandon you, but so you may see the truth without clinging to me. You are merely fighting the wind. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. Exodus 1:4. Do you see, my child, when you stop resisting, I begin to act. When you loosen your grip, I can finally place blessing in your hands. When you fall, I do not mock you. I grieve because you do not know that falling is the very moment I can lift you. I never wanted you to be strong alone, for strength without me is only a burden. I do not wish for you to outshine others. I wish for you to find peace within yourself. When you place everything into my hands, you will realize that true victory is not about what you gain, but about keeping faith when everything else collapses. So my child, try laying down that heavy garment. Let me be the shoulder you lean upon, not the pressure to be fine. When you dare to confess your weakness, you do not lose worth, you gain freedom. For when you no longer struggle to prove who you are, you can live truthfully with yourself and with me. I do not need your perfection. I desire your authenticity, and you will see once you surrender, I will lift you. When you stop running, I will draw near. When you pause, I will place my hand upon your shoulder and whisper, now let me do my part. Then you will understand that freedom is not found in control, but in trust. You will feel light as the wind, for you will no longer strain to justify your value. Only then will you truly live by my rhythm, the rhythm of grace, of peace, of complete faith. And from that place you will learn something deeper, that not only the wounds of your past, but even the judgments you've cast upon yourself can all be erased when you allow me to begin again. There are mornings when I see you awaken, yet your eyes are still heavy, as though you have spent the night battling in your dreams. You fought no one but yourself. You dissect each memory, reopen every wound, and stand as your own judge, sentencing yourself like a criminal never pardoned. You believe that I have forgiven you, yet your heart does not dare to receive it. You pray, recite the words of faith, yet deep inside you whisper, I am not worthy. My child, in saying that you deny the worth of the redemption I purchased with my own body. Therefore there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ. Jesus, Romans 8:1. I have erased the debt, yet you insist on keeping the receipt. I have cleansed you, yet you seek ways to stain yourself again. You think that by punishing yourself you prove your repentance. But repentance, my child, is not self-torment, it is return. You live as though my blood were not strong enough to wash you clean, as though my love still had conditions. You strive to do good to repay your wrongs, yet every act trembles with fear. You live kindly but not peacefully, for the root has not been healed. I do not ask you to redeem yourself. I ask you to believe that I already have. I see how you avoid your own reflection, afraid to meet the eyes of the one who failed, as if the past were a verdict never closed. But my child, I do not see you as you see yourself. I see the journey, not the stumble. When I called you, I already knew your weaknesses, yet I chose you still. For love does not choose the perfect, it makes the chosen whole. When you hide behind shame, you turn forgiveness into something distant. Though I have placed it right within your reach, all you must do is receive it. Do you remember when I stooped down to write on the sand, the accusers slipped away one by one? I did not ask the woman caught in sin what she would do to earn pardon. I said only, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." Yet you, after each mistake, build another prison within your heart, hanging a sign that reads repenting. But I do not want your repentance to be a chain. I want it to be freedom in the light. For repentance is not living inside guilt. It is stepping out to live better, to love deeper, to forgive more, even yourself. I love you for your desire to do good, but goodness without trust becomes a burden. You try to live rightly to erase wrongs, yet your fear of failing has made you forget me. You are so afraid of doing wrong that you no longer dare to live truly. You practice faith through anxiety instead of love. And so, though your actions are right, your heart remains bound, not because of sin itself, but because you do not trust in forgiveness. Understand this, my forgiveness is not temporary, it is eternal. When I said, "It is finished," I meant that you never again need to crucify yourself. My beloved child, stop looking back with the eyes of a judge and begin to see with mine. Believe that the darkness within you is not strong enough to extinguish the light I have planted. You do not need to hide your past, for once I touch it, it becomes the very proof of redemption. You have fallen, yes, but if you rise in me, that fall becomes grace. And you will see I have never used sin to reject you. I have used it to help you understand love more deeply. When you dare to look back without fear, you will see that painful memories no longer control the present. You will stop running, stop condemning yourself, stop fleeing your own reflection. For by then you will know I am still within those ruins, not to remind you, but to recreate. You will no longer fear the past, because I have transformed that past into a testimony of love. And you will step forward, not as a sinner begging for approval, but as one who is loved and learning to live in freedom. My child, forgiveness is not only what I give you, it is what I invite you to give yourself. For as long as you refuse to forgive yourself, you are resisting me. I have opened the door, but you still hold the key. Open it and let the light in. Let the accusing voices dissolve. Let your heart breathe again in peace, for I did not create you to live in regret, but in hope. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away, behold, the new has come. 2 Corinthians 5:1-7. When you awaken to this grace, you will no longer see life through the lens of sin, but through the light of love. And from that place you will recognize others who too have imprisoned themselves within their past. Then you will know how to love, how to forgive, how to receive them as I have received you. For a soul freed from guilt becomes my hands in the world, touching wounds and healing through compassion. My child, I have seen you, looking around at those who went before you, who seemed successful, settled, radiant. In those moments your eyes no longer shine, they grow quiet and sad. You say nothing, yet your heart sighs. Why am I still nowhere? I hear that voice, even when you never speak it aloud. My child, I have never asked you to run. I have only invited you to walk. But you have turned the journey into a race time, into a whip, and yourself into a prisoner of comparison. You are weary because you are striving toward a finish line I never set. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. I understand. The world is always hurrying you. Hurry up, or you'll be late. And so you begin to hurry yourself the same way. You forget that in my kingdom no one is late, for I make all things unfold in their appointed time. Yet in your fear of falling behind you, have lost the joy of the present. You work not to live, but to catch up. You love not for happiness, but to avoid feeling lesser. You pray not to be near me, but to hasten what you desire. You do not see that when you force life to match your tempo, you drift away from the rhythm of my love. I cherish you, for I know you are not unkind. You are simply anxious. You worry that if you do not achieve, you will be deemed useless. You fear that if you do not arrive on time, you will be forgotten. But my child, my love has no expiration date, no deadline by which you must prove your worth. You may move slowly. I do not rush. You may stop. I still wait. Do not fear that slowness equals loss, for in my design some flowers bloom only after night falls. The finest things do not blossom in haste, but in patience and trust. Whoever believes will not be in haste, Isaiah 2:8-16. I have watched you pray and then grow disappointed, because what you asked for has not yet come. You say, perhaps the Father has forgotten me. No, my child, I have never forgotten. I keep every petition not to refuse it, but to sow it for the right season. You want spring to arrive now, but if spring comes before the soil is ready, the seed will wither. I am not delaying. I am preparing. And if you learn to see with the eyes of faith, you will notice while you wait, I am at work. When you hear only silence, I am weaving answers to your prayers with the threads of time. I see you look at the lives of others and ache. You compare yourself to them and label your life failure. You do not know that some are looking at you wishing they had your peace. The world teaches comparison as fuel for effort. I teach comparison as a path to gratitude. When you see what others have, give thanks that you are witnessing my favor upon them. For grace has no measure. Grace has a shape, and that shape differs in every life. I do not want you to become a copy. I want you to be your true self, unique, authentic, and loved in your own way. Beloved, each person I formed carries a distinct rhythm. You are a low note in a long symphony. If you rush, the music breaks. Know this, some who seem fast lose their way, while those who know when to slow down reach the end in peace. Let me be the conductor of your journey. When I signal, you step. When I pause, you rest. When I am quiet, you wait. Delays in me are never wasted. They are how I mature your soul so it can hold what is coming. Stop measuring yourself by age achievements or how far others have gone. As long as you live to compare, you will miss what I am doing in you. Live like a grain of wheat, willing to be hidden for a time, for only through quiet burial does new life arise. When you stop running, you will hear my footsteps beside you. When you stop comparing, you will realize you have not been left behind. You are being led along a path crafted just for you. And when you learn to pause, you will discover a gentle truth: you are not slow. I am shielding you from what you are not yet ready to receive. Every slowness in me is preparation, never punishment. You will cease counting months and years. You will stop glancing sideways. Instead, you will learn to listen for the soft cadence of life in me, where everything has its perfect moment and peace becomes the reward of those who dare to trust the wait. One day you will smile when you remember this day, the day you thought you were late. You will understand that every delay in me bore the shape of salvation. And then you will no longer wish to run. You will simply wish to walk with me in the unhurried rhythm of grace. My child, I know there are days when you wish you could simply disappear, not because your body is tired, but because your soul is tangled with nameless wounds. You look into the mirror and see someone unrecognizable, someone without light. You have believed the lie that you are useless, not enough, unworthy of love. But my child, I created you in my own image. Why then do you choose to believe voices that contradict mine? I praise you, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. Psalm 139:14. Yet you keep dimming that wonder by repeating to yourself the old story that you are not worthy, not enough, never as good as the rest. I see how you've nurtured your fear as if it were part of who you are. You let anxiety steer your choices, let your wounds shape your words, and let bitterness rewrite your identity. You say, "That's just who I am," but I never created a child defined by pain. You are only wearing a garment that doesn't belong to you. You've worn it so long that you think it's your skin, and I grieve because every day you let fear guide your hand instead of faith. You even fear happiness itself, as though joy will be taken from you the moment you embrace it. Sometimes you don't even know what you fear anymore. You just feel heavy, worn, and hollow. You no longer cry, nor do you ask for anything. You say that I am silent, but truly, it is you who have sealed your lips with the thought, "He doesn't love me like before." My child, my love is not like human love. It does not fade with disappointment, nor weaken with time. When you fall into the pit of self-rejection, I am still there, not pulling you out at once, but waiting until you lift your gaze. For only when you look up will you see that the light was never gone. Understand, this worry will not lengthen your life. It only makes you forget the moment you are in. Fear will not shield you from pain. It only makes you relive it. And bitterness cannot protect you from being hurt. It only makes you the one who wounds others. You thought pain would keep you alert, but it only keeps you from peace. Let me take what you cannot release. I do not come to accuse, but to exchange your fear for peace, your bitterness for gentleness, your tears for hope. You need only believe that you are still worthy of love, even when you feel there is nothing left in you to love. I know you dramatize your life at times because your heart is full of stories about loss. You always prepare for the worst, thinking it will spare you more pain. But my child, self-defense is not peace. It is the symptom of a heart that has never truly rested. You do not need to predict the future, for the future rests in my hands. Live now, this very moment, for this is where I am with you. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. You see, your future has never been a tragedy. Only fear makes it appear so. Remember this, you are not your mistakes, nor the emotions of your weakest days. You are my child, that truth cannot be altered whether you believe it or not. Stop seeing yourself through the lens of fear. It is only fog. Beneath it lies your true self, light, peace, and tenderness, the essence I placed in you when I formed your heart. When you learn to see yourself through my eyes, you will realize that you don't need to become someone else to be loved. You need only to return to yourself in me. Then you will stop letting anxiety dictate. Stop letting bitterness lead. Stop letting old memories repaint your present. You will see that life is no longer a string of failures or mistakes, but a journey of being loved and learning to love. You will understand that every tear ever shed is a mirror reflecting grace, and you will see no pain is meaningless if it brings you closer to me. When you rise from that dark pit, do not take fear with you. Take faith. Faith does not promise an easy path, but it assures you that you will never walk alone. When you believe, you will be free. Free from fear, from resentment, from belittling yourself in your weakness. This freedom is not loud but deep, so deep like the first breath you took when you realized you were loved. And then you will see what you need is not a perfect life, but a heart that knows how to love in every circumstance. For when you let me rule over your fear, you will know what true peace is, a peace not born of control but of trust. And you will live not as one merely surviving, but as one walking gently, freely within the rhythm of grace. My child, though the echoes of your past still whisper, calling you back to who you once were, remember this. That version of you has been covered by the mercy of time and the gentle hands of my love. You are no longer a replica of yesterday, but a living seed rising in the new soil I have chosen for you. I see within you the glimmers of light beginning to unfold, the seeds of hope pushing through the layers of trial. Every step you take, slow, faltering, or steady, draws you closer to the destiny I have woven for you since the beginning. You do not need to compete nor to measure yourself against those who seem to move faster. Every soul I have created has its own rhythm, its own ripening season, and your journey is the same. No one can walk it for you, and no one can fully understand the path I have set before you. Others may not see the meaning hidden in what you endure, but I see, I know, and I understand the roots of every wordless ache within you. Do not compare your dawn to another's sunset. Every person I place on this earth walks a distinct path where both light and shadow serve a purpose. Sometimes I let you travel through long nights, not because I have forgotten you, but because I am teaching you to find light within your own soul. I know you have prayed for things to change, for doors to open, for storms to pass. Yet sometimes, instead of calming the storm, I let the wind grow stronger so that your wings may gain strength to soar farther. There are lessons that can only be written on your heart when you learn to stand firm amid the storm, and in that very wind I am shaping you into a version of yourself that is stronger, steadier, and unbreakable. Trust me, even when you no longer see any reason to. True faith does not take root in smooth soil. It is born in the narrow valleys of doubt. When everything seems off course, when your prayers appear unanswered, that is when I am most at work. You see only the small frame of your present, but I see the entire tapestry, every shadow and every color with its place, and together they will form a masterpiece. I am never in haste, for I do not work by the ticking of clocks, but by the rhythm of destiny. The seasons of waiting are not forgotten seasons. They are seasons of planting times, when your roots dig deep in the unseen soil, so that when harvest comes, you will stand unshaken. Do not fear silence. In it I am still speaking through the people you meet, through the challenges you face, through the moments you think you've lost your way. Not every silence is my absence. Sometimes within the quiet I am teaching you to hear the pulse of your own soul. When you find doors unmoving, no matter how hard you've knocked, remember this: I do not close them to wound you. I wait for the moment when your hands are strong enough to open them and your heart wise enough to recognize what truly belongs to you. If I gave you what you wanted before you were ready, it would become a burden rather than a blessing. So, be grateful even for the times of delay, for behind every not yet hides a something better is coming. You may think you are being left behind, that time is slipping away in vain. But I tell you, not a single moment of your life is wasted while you remain in my hands. I never let a tear fall without purpose. Each drop waters the seeds of resilience and faith growing within you. You may not yet see the flowers bloom, but the roots are alive, pushing upward through the silent soil. One day when you look back, you will see that everything that once caused you pain became the very thing that shaped your strength, your depth, and your light. Trust me when all you see is darkness, for that is when I am preparing the road ahead. I am not withholding your blessings. I am perfecting you for them. I want you to know how to cherish, protect, and use what I will place in your hands. Many receive what they ask for, but lose it, for they have not learned how to keep it. But you, I do not want you to merely touch my grace. I want you to live fully in it, to understand it, and to let it shine through you to others. Do not despise this season of testing, for it is teaching you how to become light in the dark. When you keep walking, even when hope seems gone, you are writing the most beautiful story of faith your life will ever tell. I have seen you at your weakest, I have stood beside you when you fell, and I have never left, not for a single breath. I know your limits, but I also know the strength within you that even you have yet to discover. That is why I do not let you stop halfway. I keep urging you onward, even if all you can manage are small, trembling steps. Everything unfolding now is within my design. When you think life is falling apart, I see the pieces falling into place. When you think you have lost everything, I see you being freed from what no longer serves your path. I never take away without the intent to give something better. So trust that even if you stand at a crossroads of uncertainty, my hand is still guiding you. I love you not because you are perfect, but because within you burns what I, myself, placed there, the flame of hope, of kindness, of faith. Do not fear being lost, for I know the way home. You do not need to understand everything. Simply hold on to faith and let me lead. Sometimes faith is not seeing at all, it is stepping forward into the unseen. And I promise you this, if you keep believing, I will lead you to the place where every sorrow becomes peace, every tear becomes light, and every loss reveals its purpose. The story of your life is not a fragment of the present, but a masterpiece I am painting stroke by stroke. Even if all you see now are shades of gray, remember that I am still adding color. When the painting is complete, you will understand that every line, every flaw, every shadow was necessary for beauty to emerge. And on that day you will smile, for you will finally see that I never left, never forgot, and never stopped loving you, not for a single heartbeat. Now as you read these words, let your soul be still. Breathe deeply, close your eyes, and feel my presence surrounding you. Wherever you are, whatever you are facing, know that I am at work quietly, tenderly, but with all the power of heaven. And hear me say again with absolute certainty, the journey is not over. The best is yet to come, waiting for the moment when you are strong enough, wise enough, and faithful enough to receive it. So keep walking, my beloved. Do not look back in regret, nor forward in fear. Let me be your light, your wind, your strength in every breath. For when you trust me, even through the night, you will find a dawn made just for you, radiant and new. My child, no matter how long your life stretches, no matter how many roads you have walked, twisting, breaking, collapsing under the weight of all that felt impossible to survive, you have never gone too far to return. Regardless of your age, your past, or the depth of your wounds, wonder still waits for you ahead. Each morning that greets you is proof that life is giving you another chance, another blank page to begin again. Do not look back on what you've lost with despair, for often the things that seem to have vanished are merely being reshaped into something purer, deeper, and far more precious. You may think it's over, that all that remains are ashes of what you dreamed, but even from ashes, I can breathe a new flame to life, a brighter one than before. For nothing is ever truly lost when love and faith remain. The cracks in your heart are not endings, they are openings, places where the light of hope can enter and warm the deepest corners of your soul. Right where you once fell, I will plant the seed of strength. Right where you once wept, I will cause joy to bloom again. Know this, no pain is ever wasted. Every time you tumble into despair, I am there not always to stop the fall, but to teach you how to rise. Every wound carries a lesson. Every loss holds a seed of rebirth. Life never takes without giving something richer in return. You only need stillness to see it. When enemies or trials seek to break you, I am quietly turning them into stepping stones for your ascent. What seemed like a final blow will one day prove to be your turning point. And when you look back, you will see clearly the tears you once shed watered the strength you now carry. No one is born flawless, and no one walks through life without breaking at least once. Yet breaking does not make you weak, it shows you dared to love, to dream, to live with an open heart. Scars do not mar you, they testify to the world and to yourself that you have endured, healed, and emerged stronger. Every wound speaks of courage, every loss of gratitude. When you meet each moment with a calm heart, you will begin to see that everything happens for a reason, and that reason is always leading you towards something good, whether you can see it yet or not. Life will never be a straight line. It bends, it detours, it ends in cul-de-sacs. But even when you find yourself trapped in a dark chapter, remember the story of your life is not over. This chapter is only a fragment of your long tale. The page will turn to light, to faith, to all the goodness you once thought you didn't deserve. I am still writing with you word by word, line by line, with patience and boundless love. I do not ask you to be strong all at once. I only ask you not to stop. For even your smallest steps move you closer to healing, closer to the dawn. True strength is not the absence of falling, but the courage to rise again and again, and I know within you lies a quiet power waiting to awaken. When everything seems to collapse, close your eyes and listen to the steady rhythm of your heartbeat. That sound is life itself. It is my whisper reminding you there is still time to change, still room to grow. Everything can be renewed, even what you thought was beyond repair. You are never too late to begin again, never too old to dream, never too broken to love. With my love, even the smallest spark within you can become something magnificent. When darkness surrounds, you do not be afraid. I am there not to snatch you out of the night, but to teach you to see the stars. For only in the thickest night does light shine most brightly. Do not fear pain, it is the alchemy of growth. Do not fear loss, it is how I clear the path for what truly belongs to you. Only believe that everything carries meaning, that every ending conceals a beginning. When you choose to see through eyes of gratitude, even your fractures will become windows for light. I never promised life without hardship, but I promise you will never walk alone. I will go with you through the long nights, through the days when you no longer wish to continue. I will gather the shattered pieces of your heart and fit them together with tenderness and light. And one day you will look upon yourself not as the fragile child who fell, nor as the broken one who wept, but as the soul who walked through storms with shining eyes and a heart reborn in love. Everything that once frightened you, everything you once cursed or grieved, one day you will thank it. For without those seasons you would not know what it means to be brave, to be kind, to love deeply. You will understand that every loss carried a blessing, every sorrow a gift. Even now, I am working in your life quietly, constantly, turning darkness into light fragments, into beauty. Be patient with yourself. The most beautiful things do not bloom overnight. Like the seed buried in the soil, you must rest in the dark, endure the damp, and wait for your time to break through. You too are being shaped and prepared for something greater. And when that time comes, you will see that not a single tear was wasted. Each drop was a prayer, each pain a mark of your becoming. You will not be trapped in this chapter forever. No night lasts past the dawn. The morning will come, soft but steadfast, spilling light across the places you thought were ruined. Then you will see what once broke you was only laying the foundation for your strength. You will realize that in my hands nothing is beyond redemption. No loss is meaningless. It all belongs to the greater story, where love, faith, and resilience meet to create perfect beauty. And when you finally understand, fear will lose its hold. You will walk with peace in your heart, with unshakable trust that life, even with all its storms, is a precious gift. You will give thanks even for the pain, for it taught you to live truly, love deeply, and hope endlessly. I am here always waiting for you to lift your head, to smile again, and to keep moving forward. For the new chapter of your life is beginning now, and this time you will write it in light, in gratitude, and with a heart that has been healed. My beloved child, when you hear my voice whisper within your heart, it is not the distant call of a faraway God, but the tender murmur of a father longing to touch the heart of his dearly loved one. I do not come to demand or to bind, but to remind you that amid the noise and change of this world, there is always a place for you to return a home in my embrace. Each morning when your eyes open, I wish that before the weight of tasks and worries presses in you, would pause for a moment and turn your heart toward me. Just whisper simply, "Father, I want to walk with you today." That alone is enough. To me, it is the most beautiful prayer because it means you have chosen to trust, to lean, to live close to me. Know this, my child. I do not always ask for grand gestures or heroic deeds. I only ask that you believe I am with you in the smallest things, in your breath, in the smile of a stranger, in the morning light, filtering through the window, even in your quiet tears. I am there, silent, but never absent. Do not wait until exhaustion or despair drives you to seek me. Let me walk with you from the beginning in every step, in every heartbeat. Faith is not a bridge you build only when you reach the edge of a cliff. It is the road you choose each day, even when you cannot see the horizon. When you choose to trust, you are saying to me, I will walk with you, whether under sunlight or rain, whether I understand or not. And in that simple choice, I see your heart open, allowing me to touch, to warm, to heal. I know there are days when you feel lost, when your prayers seem to echo into emptiness. But even then I am there, listening to each breath, counting every beat of your heart. Not one tear falls without my knowing. Not one pain pierces you without my feeling it. I will not promise a life free from burdens, but I promise you will never carry them alone. Do you remember when you were small, each time you fell, I did not scold you. I ran to you, gathered you up, brushed the dust from your knees, and said, It's all right, stand up, I am here. You have grown, but my heart has not changed. I still long to hold you, not to keep you weak, but to remind you that even when no one else seems to understand, there is still one place where you are wholly known and forever accepted. Let me enter the hidden places in you, the fears, the weariness, the wounds you dare not show. I do not come to judge, but to heal, not to control, but to love. I am not a distant king upon a throne, but a father who steps down to walk beside you on the uneven paths of life. Let me be your friend, not the kind who appears only in prayer, but the one you can speak to in your joy, your sorrow, your confusion. Talk to me as you would to your own soul. Tell me about your dreams, your fears, your quiet joys. I love the sound of your voice. I delight in the way you live, in every effort you make. I do not want to be thought of only as the Almighty, but as the companion who knows you better than you know yourself. When you sit alone in the stillness of night, I am there. When you move through the crowd unseen, my eyes never leave you. You are my treasure. And when the world causes you to doubt yourself, when you feel unworthy or weak, remember I have never seen you that way. To me, you are precious, no matter how many times you fall. I still see the light I placed within you from the beginning. It may be hidden beneath sorrow, failure, or guilt, but it has never gone out. Only turn toward me, and that light will burn bright again. Do not be afraid of my presence. Do not imagine me as distant or harsh. I am the place where you can exhale, remove the masks, set down the burdens, and simply be flawed, unfinished, yet deeply loved. I know the world's noise often drowns out. My voice, the lies that sound sweet, the clamor of fear, pride, and desire. These voices make you forget the simplest truth: you do not need to achieve anything for me to love you more. My love does not grow with your success nor shrink with your failures. It simply is unconditional and unchanging. But you must choose to believe it, because when you do, you free yourself from guilt and fear. You will see that no matter how far you fall, my arms remain open, waiting to welcome you home. Faith, my child, is not flawless perfection. It is the courage to rise again. It is the gentle insistence that there is still hope, still love. Faith is stepping into tomorrow without certainty, knowing only that I walk with you. Each time you choose to trust you, bring a smile to my face. What I desire most is not your greatness, but your humble heart that leans on me. You may not know your future, but you know me, and that is enough. So come to me without hesitation. Do not wait until you are whole and ready. Come as you are, with the confusion, the fragments, the undone pieces. I will turn your small offering into a miracle of love. Let me enter your ordinary days. Let me be present in your every moment, and you will see no moment is ever ordinary when I am there. And when the night falls before your eyes close, let my voice be the last sound you hear. Let me cradle you in peace, whispering that though the day was imperfect, you were never alone. Tomorrow, when the first light touches your face, I will still be there smiling and saying, "Let's walk together again." For my love for you never fades. It is new every morning, like the first breath, like the dawn's soft light. Walk with me, my child, and you will see life, though full of storms, is still immeasurably beautiful when lived with me by your side. My beloved child, you need wear no mask before me, for every pretense becomes meaningless in my presence. You need not try to appear strong or complete, for I have seen to the very end of the weakness within your heart, and it is precisely there that I choose to place my love. Come to me as your truest self, with wounds still bleeding, with turns you do not yet understand, with the dark corners you fear to face. I do not seek perfection in you. I seek authenticity. In my light, everything you have tried to hide is dissolved by boundless mercy. Do not be afraid when you feel yourself breaking, for sometimes only when you break can you be healed. I know every hidden place in your soul, even those you dare not enter, but I do not turn away. On the contrary, it is there that I set my first steps to lead you out of the shadows into the light of faith. The days you think have lost their meaning are in fact the very days when I am working in quiet ways. You believe your spring has passed, that there is nothing left to hope for, but I tell you this, your most beautiful days are not behind you. They are ahead, where I have prepared a new path, where you will understand that all that has gone before was only the beginning of something deeper. Do not let the memory of failure cloud your sight, for the calling I have given you has never been revoked. No mistake is great enough to change my purpose for you. Every fall only teaches you to rise more firmly. You may be tired, you may be confused, but never believe you have wandered outside my plan. Not one tear you have shed is wasted. I have counted each one, and within them lie the seeds of grace that will blossom in due season. My cherished child, when you no longer have the strength to pray, I still hear your sighs. When you feel alone, I am there in every heartbeat, in the brush of a passing breeze upon your shoulder. You think you have been abandoned, yet in that very moment I am carrying you in my arms. You are not forgotten. Even if the world turns its face away, even if people judge you, I still remember your name. I trace every step you take. Do not imagine I see you only when you do good. I look upon you with love, even when you stumble in sin. For my love does not spring from your merits, but from who I am, the faithful one who does not change. You may drift from me, but I will never abandon you. I remain here waiting not to reproach, but to gather you into my embrace, to dry your tears, and to whisper, I still choose you. The promises I have spoken over your life may seem to have faded with the years, but know this, they have not lost their power. Time may cause you to forget. I do not. People may break their word. Mine does not return empty. It is still at work, woven into the quiet current of your days, awaiting the right moment to bloom and bear fruit. I am acting even when you do not see it. Amid the silent hours that feel meaningless, I labor on your behalf. I am teaching you through each event, leading you along turns no one else understands. Sometimes I let you cross deserts, so you will learn to thirst for living water. Sometimes I allow you to taste loss, so you will grasp the value of what you have. In every circumstance I am with you, not as some distant idea, but as a near father ready to hear even the smallest stirrings of your heart. You are not invisible, though you often feel too small for anyone to notice. In my eyes you are always of great worth. I do not look at you as the world does. I do not measure you by achievement status or praise. I see your soul where there is still a light you yourself have not yet recognized. I see the dreams you keep hidden, The unseen efforts, the times you forced a smile while your heart was full of tears. I treasure it all. I know you are trying, and I want you to understand, none of it is in vain. I do not need your perfection. I only ask you to turn back in sincerity, for with even a single step toward me, I will run to you. My child, when you stand at a crossroads, do not be afraid. I do not require you to know all your tomorrows. I ask only that you believe my hand is holding yours. Every door that closes does so to open a better way. What you lose today may be what I am using to prepare a brighter tomorrow. I know what you do not, and I am arranging the scattered pieces of your life. The canvas may look unfinished now, but when you look back, you will find it beautiful, for I am the artist painting your days. Do not let the past imprison you. Do not let your own accusations drown out the truth that you have been forgiven. I do not keep count of your sins. I wipe them away. When I said, "It is finished," it meant nothing stands between us any longer. Step out of the night of guilt into the light of the freedom I have given you. Let me trade your shame for strength, your wounds for testimony. Every scar on your heart will become evidence of my love for you, a love that never leaves and never runs dry. I know there are nights you cannot sleep when tears wet your pillow and you ask, why? But in those very nights I am beside you, my hand over your heart whispering, I am here. I do not keep silence to abandon you. I keep silence to teach you to hear the voice within where I dwell. You think I am far, yet I am nearer than you imagine. Each time you breathe, I am giving you life. Each dawn that breaks reminds you there is another day to begin again. Each birdsong, each falling leaf is my way of saying I remain with you. Stop blaming yourself. Stop comparing yourself with others. Your life is a singular journey I wrote before you were born. No one can live it in your place, and no one can forfeit the portion of blessing I have set aside for you. Everything that comes to you has its purpose, even if you cannot yet see it. Sometimes I lead you through storms to teach you how to keep faith. Sometimes I leave you seemingly alone so you will discover that I am the one who never leaves. Believe that nothing in your life has strayed outside my design. Beloved child, when you are weary, sit with me. Lay down the burdens you carry, for I know those small shoulders have borne too much. Let me be your rest, your harbor in the gale. I do not ask you to be strong always, for I am strong enough for us both. You need only trust. Open your heart and let me in. Let me fight for you, for the battles are mine. You need only stand firm in faith, and I will do the rest. Remember, you are loved not for what you do, but because you belong to me. Whenever you doubt your worth, look to the cross where I paid for you with my very life. There is no love greater. Never think you are a burden or a mistake. You are my gift, my joy. I rejoice that you exist. And now I want you to rise, not in fear, but in new faith. Take a step, even a small one, for I will walk the whole way with you. What you once lost, I can replace with something better. Dreams you thought dead, I can bring to life again. I am the one who makes all things new. Let me continue your story with a new chapter of hope, of peace, of love. I see you, I hear you, I am with you, not only today but forever. Do not doubt this, for my love does not depend on circumstance. Wherever you go, I am there. When you are weak, I am strong. When you lose your way, I will find you. When you let go, I will still hold you. For you are my child, the one I love with a love that will never fade. My beloved child, the stream of your thoughts is the source of all that unfolds in your life. It is a garden, and whatever seeds you plant there will one day bloom into the landscape of your days. If you allow worry, bitterness, and fear to take root, they will grow like vines that tighten around your soul. But if you choose to sow hope, faith, and love, your garden will blossom with peace even in the midst of storms. That is why I do not only desire your actions, I desire your inner thoughts, the secret movements of your mind. For it is in that sacred space that you shape how you see the world, how you meet pain, and how you find me within every circumstance. Do not think that positive thought is naive or denial. It is not pretending pain does not exist, it is declaring that pain does not rule you. When you look at life through my eyes, wounds cease to be endings and become gateways to growth. You begin to see that those who once hurt you are not curses but instruments I use to teach you forgiveness and love in its purest form. Each time you refuse to let darkness overtake your heart, you are walking in freedom. Freedom from resentment, from fear, from the chains of what once was. Remember, thoughts are not fleeting clouds. They are living energy shaping your reality. One thought can break you or raise you up. When you nurture what is good, you create space for miracles. When you dwell on pain, you build walls that block my blessings. You have been given the power of choice. You cannot command the wind, but you can set your sail. You cannot stop the world's troubles, but you can choose how to see them. If you see failure as final, you will fall. If you see it as a lesson, you will rise stronger. True strength is not in never falling, but in rising again with a heart still capable of love. That is the training of your spirit, not only in peace, but in the storms as well. For faith is proven not under calm skies, but in the winds of trial. Every time you choose peace amid chaos, you reveal a glimpse of me. Every time you smile through tears, you shine my light into the darkness. That is not pretense, it is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to believe, even when all seems lost. When you trust that I am still in control, you give me permission to turn your storms into art, your pain into grace. Do not be alarmed when your mind is attacked by dark thoughts. That is a sign that transformation is near. Stop, breathe, and whisper the truth I have given you. You still reign. Peace will flow back into you, like a gentle stream, carrying away confusion and fear. And you will see that power does not come from control, but from surrender. I know your sleepless nights when thoughts crash like waves. You replay what has been lost, who has left what could have been. Yet even in those nights I am near. You cannot change the past, but I can redeem it. In my hands nothing is wasted. Every tear you shed becomes a seed that will one day bloom. If you offer me your anxious thoughts, I will turn them into wings. Let me enter your mind where old fears have made their home, and I will clear them away with the light of truth. Then you will breathe freely again as though laying down a heavy stone. The enemy does not need to destroy you through great actions. He only needs to plant one lie and watch you believe it. A small doubt can choke a mighty faith. Guard your mind like a watchman guards a city. When a dark thought comes, do not let it take root. Replace it with my words for. My words are life. The more you dwell on them, the more your mind is washed clean and shadows lose their hold. You do not have to be strong alone, I have given you my spirit who will teach you to think, to speak, and to act in truth. See the world through. My eyes hope and despair, love amid ruin, light even in the deepest night. Train your mind to be a sanctuary of peace, not a battlefield of fear. Each morning set your thoughts on me, not on your worries. Begin with gratitude, for thanksgiving unlocks joy. Gratitude shifts your gaze from what you lack to what you have, and then you will see that happiness has always been near, hidden in grace, unnoticed. A grateful mind becomes unshakable because it understands that though life changes, grace does not. The world will flood you with noise, negativity, comparison, false worth. Stay awake, guard what you let enter. As a gardener pulls weeds, remove the thoughts that do not bear good fruit. Do not let gossip, envy, or judgment dwell in you. Feed your mind with what is true, noble, pure, and kind. Each time you choose to think kindly, to speak gently, to act lovingly, you make the world brighter. And I rejoice, for I see you transforming not from outward strength but from inward renewal. Life will not be without difficulty, but I will never leave you. You will fall, but I will lift you. And every time you rise, your faith will grow deeper, your peace more steadfast. Do not flee the dark days. Let them teach you to cherish the light. For true strength is not in avoiding the storm, but in learning to dance through it. When you allow me to guide your thoughts, I will make you a fountain of peace for others, a lamp in the night, a river in the desert. So open your mind, my child, and let me rewrite your story. Let not your past nor your fears define you anymore. Let my words' truth about who you are in my sight become your foundation. Think, speak, and live as one who is deeply loved, for that is who you are. When you live from that awareness, darkness cannot touch you, and day by day you will discover a healed mind renews an entire life. That is what I desire for you, a free spirit, a renewed mind, and a life radiant in my light. My beloved child, I have kept my words as a mother guards the life of her child, because I know that one day when you must face the night, only that word can become the torch that lights your path. In this world you may find many voices, many counsels, much knowledge, but none can heal your soul as my word does. It is not a set of dry rules, not a list of do's and don'ts. It is a stream that never ceases to flow, washing away the dust of fear and despair within you. It is a gentle breeze that passes through a mind worn thin by confusion and struggle. When you open your heart to receive it, you will find it is not mere ink on a page, but life, breath, and light flowing from my own heart. My word is not merely syllables sounding from a sheet of paper. It is the breath of life coursing through every cell of your being. Each time you read it, you are not simply reading. You are allowing your mind to be ordered again, renewed and rinsed clean of the haze that veils your faith. You are not only listening, you are letting the seed of truth be sown in the soil of your heart, which at times has grown barren from hurt and doubt. When you speak these words aloud, you awaken in yourself a hidden current of power, one strong enough to push back every lie and mend every fracture of the soul. You do not need to change the whole world. You need only let this word change you, and you yourself will become living proof that light still triumphs over darkness. Many wait until their hearts are shattered before they seek me, until every other door has closed before they remember my word as a last remedy. But my child, I do not want you to live that way. Do not wait until your soul is parched in the desert to remember the source. Drink in my word each day, so that when thirst comes, a spring is already within you. Let it become daily food for your spirit, as bread and water are to the body. For the soul can starve if it is not nourished by truth. Do not wait for a crisis to open the scriptures. Do not wait for tears to overflow before you search for me. Each morning, when you wake, let the first thing you seek not be headlines or the glowing screen full of noise and judgment, but the gentle sound of my voice, the only sound that does not tear you down but builds you up. The world will always be restless, full of the roar of worry and confusion. News will change by the hour. Public opinion will twist every truth, but my word never changes. It is an anchor in the raging sea. When you moor your mind to it, you will no longer be swept away by waves. You will learn to stand still, though storms rage around you. You will learn to listen in the silence and catch the whisper of hope in the darkest night. When people leave you, when their words wound you, my word remains still there, still tender like a father's arms around a child who has come home after years of wandering. Remember, this word is not only to be read, but to be lived with. You cannot merely hear and forget. You must let it soak into your very being, become the reflex of your heart, the way you see the world, the way you face yourself. Every sentence is a seed. If you sow it with trust, it will take root, sprout, and bear fruit, peace, patience, love, and forgiveness. You will see yourself changing not in a moment, but with every breath every thought, every action. This is the wonder my word works, not loud or showy, but steady and deep like rain seeping into dry ground to nourish hidden life. When you let my word become the lamp of your mind, you will see more clearly the ruts you once walked without thinking. You will recognize how many false beliefs you carried, how many wounds you mistook for fate. And then, little by little, my word will teach you to let go, not by force, but by understanding. Letting go is not forgetting. It is allowing the past to lie down and rest so the present can be healed. You will learn that forgiveness is not granting a favor to another, but releasing yourself. And as you forgive, my word will no longer sound foreign. It will become the very beat of your heart. There will be days when the world wears you out. Your faith will be tested. What you have built will seem to crumble. But remember, no faith matures without a storm. In hardship, faith is tempered like gold refined in fire. As you cling to my word, fear will lose its strength. It will no longer rule you, because now you have a light for the path. You will understand that darkness exists only where light has not yet reached. And when my word shines, the darkness vanishes, not because it has been defeated, but because it never belonged to your true nature. Let my word become the music of your soul, a melody of peace you can still hear, no matter how loud the world becomes. Do not keep the word only in memory. Let it live in your heart. Do not turn it into ritual. Let it become your breath. For this word was not born to be confined between pages, but to live, to touch, to transform. Let each day be your answer to that grace, by loving someone, forgiving someone, or simply smiling when life seems to close its doors. And my child, when you allow my word to lead you, you will no longer fear what you do not know. You will learn to walk by faith, not because you see the whole road, but because you trust that I hold your hand. You will learn when to be silent, when to speak, and when to stop, because your heart is full. You will see that everything around you may change, but the truth of my word does not fade. That truth will make you free, not the brief freedom of emotion, but the deep freedom of a soul that knows where it belongs. The world may laugh when you choose to believe what cannot be seen. They may call you naive for keeping hope amid 1,000 disappointments. But remember, every miracle begins with a small faith. A seed cannot sprout if it is afraid of the dark soil. So it is with faith. It must dare to be buried before it rises into the light. And it is my word that will nourish that seed, so that on the day you can no longer believe, the word will believe on your behalf. Therefore, do not let my word be only an echo that fades. Let it become your rhythm of life. When you are weary, let it comfort you. When you are lost, let it guide you. When you doubt, let it remind you that you are loved, not because you are perfect, but because you belong to me. Do not let the noise of this life drown out my voice within you. Be still, and you will hear me not far away, but within your own heart, where my word has been inscribed since the beginning. So read it, listen to it live with my word. Each day you do, you are weaving a new garment for your soul, a garment of truth, of peace, of light. Let my word cover you like the morning mist over tender grass, gentle yet enduring. Let it walk with you step by step, so that though the world may change, you will not lose yourself. For in the end, when all else passes away, my word will remain, and in that word you will find me, the one who has loved you from the first and will love you forever. My beloved child, there are people around you who see only what lies before their eyes and rush to conclude as though they possessed the truth. They trust in numbers, in charts, in trends the world praises for a moment, yet they forget that faith does not live in what can be measured. I have not called you to blend into that crowd. I am calling you to step off the narrow track of limited reason and enter the journey of faith, where light does not come from what is seen, but from a deep trust within the soul. To walk by faith is to accept that each step is planted not on familiar ground, but on the firmness of my promises, though your eyes have never seen them. Faith begins in the mind. It is not a miracle that appears from nothing but a seed sown in your thoughts and nourished by steadfast trust. If your mind is filled with fear, then no matter how much your lips pray, they will echo hollowly across a barren desert. How can you speak of victory while your thoughts are haunted by defeat? How can you hope for joy when your heart is crowded with regret and loss? Thought is the gateway to reality, and what you dwell on continually becomes the canvas of your life. If your inner world is filled with light, then no darkness outside can swallow your steps. I see many of my children pray day and night, yet they themselves drain their prayers of power. They ask me for peace, and as soon as the Amen is spoken, they sketch 1,000 worst-case endings in their minds. They ask me for healing, then spend the day steeped in worry, certain the miracle will never come. Faith cannot thrive alongside persistent doubt. If you let fear fill your mind, your faith will grow as fragile as a candle in a storm. I refuse no prayer, but I cannot deliver what your heart is not yet willing to receive. Therefore, let your inner life be renewed each day. Wash away negative thoughts as a gardener prunes dead branches, so new life can break through. You cannot scatter seeds of blessing into soil choked with the weeds of suspicion. Learn to think as one who overcomes, to speak as one already set free, and to live as one who knows blessing is theirs. When your words and thoughts agree, when your trust and your actions move in step, the miraculous will no longer feel far away. Faith is not a denial of reality. It is the sight of a higher reality where my power surpasses every human limit. You may stand in the storm, yet faith will remind you that skies clear after rain. You may walk in shadow, yet faith will whisper that light waits at the road's end. The faithful are not those who never feel fear, but those who place trust above fear. They refuse to let their minds be ruled by circumstance, because they know circumstances are only a passing backdrop on the way to better things. Understand this: every thought you nurture is a seed cast into your future. If you brood over injury, you will meet more causes to hurt. If you stare at failure, you will unwittingly invite it back. But if you begin to sow thoughts of life, of trust, of favor, you will soon reap a harvest rich with peace. Faith is a path of choices. Each day you must choose whether to believe my word or the world's noise. Remember, no faith is born in comfort. Faith grows in trial. When all runs smoothly, it is easy to say you believe, but when storms break, only true trust keeps you standing. Rough waves do not come to drown you, but to teach you to walk upon the water. You cannot learn to fly without facing the chasm. As the eagle spreads its wings only when the wind swells, so you will know the strength of faith when challenges surround you on every side. I do not promise you will never be wounded, but I promise that in every wound I am present to heal. I do not promise you will never weep, but I promise that not one tear will be wasted. I will turn each one into the seed of a new hope. Faith is choosing to believe that every work of mine has purpose, even when you cannot see results yet. Do not let your mind be a battlefield of doubt. Let it be a sanctuary of trust. Let your thoughts reflect my love and greatness. When you think on me, you will find peace. When you trust in me, you will find strength. When you live for me, you will discover meaning in all that happens. You cannot control every upheaval of life, but you can choose your response. If your heart holds steady, no storm, however fierce, will sweep you away. Train your thoughts to be pure, like gold refined by fire. When fear approaches, answer it with faith. When disappointment slips in, resist it with hope. When doubt rises, remind your soul that I have never broken a promise. When you dare to believe with nothing visible to lean on, your faith shines brightest. For faith does not require proof, it is itself the evidence of things unseen. You may not know what tomorrow holds, but remember that I do. You may not understand why your path narrows, but I know you need that way to grow. At times I lead you into stillness, not because I forget you, but to teach you how to hear my voice in the quiet. Stop comparing your journey to another's, for each person's faith is its own story. Trees with the deepest roots are the ones the storm cannot uproot. So it is with you, the deeper your trust, the steadier you will stand. Do not judge life by what the eye can see, for the eye sees only the surface. Look with faith, and you will glimpse the depths where I am working for you. When every door appears closed, faith will reveal one the world has missed. When you feel abandoned, faith will remind you I have never left. When you feel weak, faith will tell you that my power is made perfect in that very weakness. Guard your mind as one guards a treasure, for your thoughts are the wellspring of your life. One false thought can draw your days into shadow, but one true thought can open an entirely new sky. You cannot command the wind, but you can set your sail. Likewise, you cannot control all that happens, but you can choose to see it through faith. And when you do, I will guide you to places reason alone can never lead. My beloved child, I do not want you merely to talk about faith, but to live it. Do not let it be a confession reserved for prayer time. Let it become the breath of every moment. Believe while nothing has changed. Believe while prayers seem unanswered. Believe while tears still fall, for that is when your faith is being refined. Once you learn to place trust above circumstance, fear will lose its power, for you will know that I still hold the helm of your life, no matter how high the waves. As you walk by faith, you will find even the smallest things brimming with meaning. A single spark in the night will be enough to tell you I am there. A gentle word in the midst of anger will be proof that love remains. Faith will teach you that you do not believe because you have seen. You will see because you have believed. Nourish your thoughts with my truth, not with the world's fears. Let every word from your mouth carry the breath of hope. Make your mind good soil, where my word can take root sprout and bear fruit. When you think as I think, you will speak as I speak. When you speak as I speak, you will act according to my will. And when you act according to my will, you will witness my glory unfold within your life. Now as you grow still before me, no longer letting the world's noise stir your soul, you begin to perceive something deeper that I have always wanted you to know. True strength does not lie outside you, it is within you. You do not need to chase praise, nor seek refuge in people or possessions, because everything you need to pass through the darkness I planted in you from the very beginning. I have set in your heart a flame, a fire of awareness, of faith, of creativity, and transformation. And now I want you to kindle it to light up every dim corner of your mind, so you can see that every thought you choose to nurture carries the power to determine your own destiny. Each notion is not merely fleeting. It is a seed sown in the soil of your soul, and it will sprout into action, into habit, into the life you live. You have believed yourself small, your fate harsh, that all you can do is accept whatever happens. Not so. You were made in my image, the image of the Creator, and that means the same creative essence is in you. You can think, imagine, choose, and through that, you weave your own reality. When you grasp this, you will stop fearing, stop blaming circumstance, and begin living as one who holds the key to their own future. I know there are times you are weary when everything seems to collapse and your efforts feel pointless. Yet precisely in those moments, if you choose a different thought, a different belief, reality begins to turn. You will see that pain is no longer an enemy, but an invitation to discover the steadfast strength of your heart. Waiting is no longer an empty pause, but the place where you learn to trust and to look beyond what eyes can see. Understand this: when you come into harmony with my truth, you no longer have to wrestle the world into change. The world will change around you because the energy you carry will align what is coming toward you. Remember, you are not only this body, not only the rise and fall of daily emotions. You are the essence of creation, a soul bearing my image called to shine in the dark. Each time you choose a constructive thought, it is more than psychology. It is your soul declaring that you trust light more than shadow. And when you believe, the whole universe moves to affirm that belief. This power is not the force to dominate, but the energy of harmony, a power that enables you to empathize, to love, to build, rather than destroy. Look back over your life. How many times did you think you were finished, yet you rose again, stronger than before? How many times did tears threaten to drown you, yet those very tears washed away fear and opened clarity? That is the evidence of an indestructible life force within you, a will no power can extinguish. When you listen to your mind and become aware of each current of thought, you will realize you can choose peace in the storm, choose joy even before results appear, choose love though the wound still aches. These choices are what make you free. Freedom is not the absence of hardship, but refusing to let hardship define you. Freedom is knowing that though the outer world shifts, you remain sovereign within. You can think something different, feel something different, act from love instead of fear. And each time you do, you become more like me, not in dominance, but in the very nature of love and creation. Imagine that every thought you choose is written onto the canvas of the universe. How carefully would you think? You would no longer allow negative notions to lodge long in your mind, because you know they do more than cloud your feelings. They generate an energy that pulls you away from what is good. Instead, you would nourish thoughts of truth, light, and gratitude. For when you think rightly, you will speak rightly. When you speak rightly, you will act rightly. And when you act rightly, you will live in harmony with the flow of the universe. I do not ask you to be flawless. I ask you to be aware that in every moment you can begin again. You can choose light over darkness. Every thought is a prayer, every choice a seed cast into the boundless field of life. And I, who created you, am always beside you, waiting for you to recognize this wonder. Do not be afraid if your mind sometimes returns to worry or doubt. Simply notice it and come back to the first trust that you were made by love, and therefore you carry within you the capacity to love without condition. When you love, you activate the most powerful creative force. Love not only soothes the heart, it opens the gateway for every miracle. It teaches you to see opportunity where others see failure, to see light where others see only night. You will forgive not because others deserve it, but because you deserve peace. And in that peace you will hear my voice more clearly, the gentle call reminding you that everything you need to rise, I have long ago placed within your soul. The world around you may change. People may depart, dreams may break, but what I have sown in you is never lost. It is the inexhaustible source by which you can recreate yourself, walk through suffering, and still keep your faith, still keep the light in your eyes. Remember, true strength is not in controlling everything, but in mastering your own mind. When you learn this, nothing can subdue you. Then you will see the miracle does not arrive from outside, but begins with a single right thought, a clear belief, and a heart brave enough to open. In that moment, you will not only step into my promise, you will live in my very power, a power not to possess, but to create, to heal, and to love to the very end. Even if you have not realized it yet, every thought within you is a seed sown into the soil of your life. Whatever you nurture, whether with faith or with fear, will grow blooming or bearing fruit in its own way. If your mind is filled with worry, if you focus only on what might go wrong, every path before you will seem shadowed. The world then ceases to feel like a place of opportunity and becomes a maze of anxiety. But when you learn to place your trust wholly in me, when you pause to feel the heartbeat of your soul in my presence, you will begin to see the miracle. Nothing is random, nothing is meaningless, and no trial comes to you without a purpose. Born of love. You were not made to live in doubt, but to walk through the storm with steadfast peace. That peace does not come because everything goes well, but because you know I am with you, even in the darkest night. When you learn to think with my mind, you will no longer fear the future, nor be chained by the past, but live in the present, where grace flows with every moment. You will see that each turning point is not an ending, but a step drawing you closer to the purpose I designed for you. Imagine your mind as a garden. If each day you sow seeds of gratitude, hope, and love, watering them with prayer and the light of faith, soon that garden will blossom with life. But if you leave it untended, letting weeds of doubt, comparison, and bitterness take root, they will spread and choke what is good. I did not create you to be a victim of circumstance, but to be the master of your own thoughts, to choose what to keep, what to release, what to believe. So do not let your mind drift like a rudderless boat. Let me be its captain, steering every thought and decision toward the light. There will be days when faith feels like a fragile flame flickering in the dark. Yet if you keep it burning, however small, it will be enough to guide your way. In your weakness you will see that my strength does not come from your striving, but from your simple surrender. Lord, I believe. When you believe, limits dissolve. When you dare to think my thoughts, you are no longer confined by human reasoning, but are open to see what others cannot see, to hear what others cannot hear, and to do what once seemed impossible. Every positive thought you choose today is a small step toward transforming your whole life. I do not demand perfection, only that your heart keeps turning toward what is good, for I will take care of the rest. As you repeat my words and meditate on my grace and power, your mind will be renewed. Like cool water washing away dust, my word will cleanse the burdens you carry, leaving you free, light, and alive. True transformation never begins outside, but deep within the soul. When the mind changes, the world changes. When you choose to see life through the lens of hope, you will discover that every pain hides a lesson, every failure holds the seed of victory. Do not fear your wounds, they forge your strength. Do not despise dark days, for only in the night can you see the stars. Let what you endure become a witness to my faithfulness, so that one day when you look back you will see that every winding path led to one place alone, my heart of love. You may have thought yourself not strong enough, not worthy enough, but, my child, I called you enough before you were born. In my eyes, you are not a chain of mistakes to be corrected, but a masterpiece being perfected each day. Learn to forgive yourself, just as I have forgiven you. Do not let old guilt or others' judgment imprison your soul. You were born to be free, to love, to create, to shine with the light I placed within you. When your mind is renewed, everything around you shifts. You no longer look at others with envy, but with compassion. You cease to seek value in what is shallow and begin to treasure what is simple. You realize that true power lies not in holding on, but in letting go. True freedom is not having everything, but being bound by nothing. Then you will see me in every breath, every sunrise, every drop of rain, and understand everything is grace. Let each passing day be a chance to train your mind. Do not wait for perfect conditions to trust. It is in adversity that faith is tested and refined. Just as gold must pass through fire to shine, you too must pass through trials to discover the strength within. I know you will stumble. I know you will grow weary, but I will never leave you. Each time you fall, I am there reaching out to lift you, to dry your tears, whispering, "Go on, my beloved." Mark this well, your mind is the battlefield where good and evil contend. The enemy will sow seeds of fear, doubt, and inadequacy. But I have given you the power to choose. Choose what is good. Choose to believe. Choose to love. For each time you choose me, light triumphs over darkness. You need not know every detail ahead. Simply walk faithfully, and I will take care of what comes. And when you look back on your journey, You will be amazed the miracle did not arrive with thunder or lightning, but in the quiet moment you learn to think as I think, to love as I love, to live as I will. Then you will see that every limit was illusion, every hardship a stepping stone, and every pain a doorway into a deeper, stronger, more perfect love. My child, keep thinking as I think, not to escape reality but to transform it into wonder. For what you think steadfastly you will become. If you think of light, you will shine. If you think of love, you will become a source of love. If you think of me, you will realize that I have never left you. I am in every heartbeat, every thought, every breath you take. And then you will know the miracle is not somewhere far away. It begins within your renewed mind. You do not have to live as a victim of the thoughts that flood your mind, for you have the capacity to direct, govern, and renew them toward light and truth. You can choose which ideas you will nourish. You can command the current of your mind so it yields to what is good, instead of dragging you into the pit of fear or doubt. I have given you authority to lead your thoughts, to make your mind a fertile field where the seed of truth can take root. You are not bound by worn-out beliefs, not condemned by the past, and not ruled by passing emotions. You can remake your entire inner world not by frail human strength, but by the wondrous renewing power of my Holy Spirit, who works within you each day, gentle, yet mighty, quiet, yet never ceasing. You will find this journey is not always easy, for your mind has grown accustomed to old pathways of thinking and to the whispers of fear and suspicion. There will be moments when you feel as if you are swimming upstream, as if every effort meets resistance. Do not lose heart. Each time you choose to trade a negative thought for one that carries life, you lay another foundation stone for your spiritual house. Little by little, the landscape of your mind will change. The barren tracts of worry will be watered by the stream of hope. The dim corners will be flooded with the light of truth. Then you will discover you no longer have to try to think positively, for that goodness will become your new nature when my word stands as the firm ground beneath all your reflections and decisions. Understand that there is power in every word, not only in what you speak to others, but especially in what you say to yourself. Each phrase you whisper in your mind is a command issued to your deeper self, a seed sown into your soul. If you tell yourself you are weak or worthless soon enough, you will find yourself living under that verdict. But if you speak within that you are beloved, empowered, and appointed for what is good, your entire inner world will shift to reflect that faith. Therefore, speak with intention. Choose your words as a master jeweler selects precious stones. Do not assign to yourself names I have never given, for I have not called you a failure. I have called you chosen. I have not called you weak. I have called you strong in me. I do not see you through the lens of your faults, but through my unchanging love. Do not use your words to imprison yourself in fear, nor to label your future with yesterday's defeats. Begin to declare what is right, even before your eyes can see it. Speak life over your day before it begins. While dawn has not yet broken, proclaim that this is a day of blessing, that I am at work in all things, that the doors I open no one can shut. Let your mouth offer thanks, even before you notice anything to be thankful for that is faith. When you give me thanks amid what is unfinished, you are telling the whole creation that you trust in me, and such trust can move every reality. Declare that my grace is sufficient for you even when you feel lack, that my joy is your strength even while tears still fall. For that joy does not come from outward things, but from knowing I am with you in every circumstance. Do not let the past claim the right to define your future. Wounds, mistakes, stumblings, none of these hold power over you when you choose to believe in forgiveness and renewal. Let what has been become a lesson, not a chain. Let it remind you that I can turn the worst into the very best. When you speak this by faith, you are partnering with me to shape a new future where light overcomes darkness and hope overcomes disappointment. This is not illusion, my child, but living faith, the kind that makes the unseen become visible. Faith is not pretending all is well. It is trusting that even in the night I am at work weaving bright threads into the tapestry of your life. Faith enables you to walk through the storm without fear because you know my hands are holding you. When you live by faith, you are no longer confined by what eyes behold, but are guided by what I have promised. This is how my children walk in power, not because they avoid hardship, but because they know who is with them in the midst of it. They do not collapse when others give up, for they understand true strength does not arise from fragile human reserves, but from the Holy Spirit moving within them. He is an unfailing source, the breath of hope, the whisper of courage. As you allow the Spirit to renew your mind each day, you will not merely exist. You will live fully unruled by fear, ungoverned by the past, stepping forward in freedom, in grace, and in the power of love. So begin now in this very moment. Do not wait for perfection to speak words of trust. Do not wait for fear to vanish before you act. Speak life while your heart still trembles. Give thanks while your eyes have yet to see. Take the next step while the path is still veiled with mist. This is how you grow, how you allow my Spirit to work in you, turning every word you speak and every thought you choose into seeds with power to transform your whole life. Then you will understand, true power is not the absence of fear, but the choice to trust in the dark, not never being weak, but learning to lean on me and become stronger with every day. When you have learned to think as I think, it means your mind is no longer led by the illusions of the world, but illumined by eternal truth. You no longer let your heart be swept along by petty anxieties or swayed by the shifting winds of emotion. Instead, you take hold of truth, the unchanging, the reality that stands above every upheaval, and you cling to it with the full steadfastness of your soul. In that very moment, a profound transformation begins your life. Every relationship, every dream, every breath gradually becomes a reflection of the light of what you believe. For when your mind changes, everything around you begins to turn. You will see that those who once caused you pain no longer hold power to wound you, for your heart holds no room for bitterness. You will understand that forgiveness is not weakness, but an unseen strength that sets your spirit free. When you live in truth, your love no longer has conditions, and your kindness knows no bounds. Your relationships take on a new fragrance, the scent of peace, understanding, and compassion. You no longer react out of hurt, but respond with gentleness. You no longer speak to win, but to heal. You begin to draw kindred souls, those who are also seeking the light. And as the old fades, new goodness enters your life like a grace. The energy within you changes as well, not scattered by futile thoughts or needless worry, but gathered into a powerful inner strength. You will feel life coursing through every cell, a clear stream, bringing fresh inspiration. You no longer wake with a heavy heart, but open your eyes with gratitude, for each new day is an opportunity to walk in truth. Your actions begin to carry meaning. Everything you do, however small, is infused with the spirit of service and love. When your mind is united with truth, your energy is no longer spent on anxiety but renewed in faith. At the same time, your capacities begin to grow, not because you become superior to others, but because you are no longer afraid of failure. A fortified mind helps you see opportunity, even in adversity. You do not wait for favorable conditions to act. You act to shape favorable conditions. When you believe that I am with you, you dare to step beyond your limits. Every trial becomes a chance to show your faith. Every difficulty a measure of your steadfastness. You start to see that true ability does not lie in your own strength, but in the connection between your spirit and me. From that bond you draw power, wisdom, and the courage to do what you never dared before. When your mind is strong, your spirit will stand firm like an ancient tree in the storm. There will be wind, rain, and tempests, but your roots are sunk deep in truth and nothing can move you. You will no longer live in fear, for you know that my peace does not depend on circumstances, but rests deep within you. As the ocean forever stirs at the surface, yet remains still in the depths, so your soul will find its rest amid life's fluctuations. That steadiness not only guards you, it spreads to those around you. They will see light in your eyes, hear peace in your words, and feel the quiet, enduring strength within you, the kind that can be born only when you live in truth. Then you will realize that everything I teach and every trial you pass through serves this purpose, to make you a reflection of my likeness in the world. You no longer live to prove your worth, but to reveal my goodness. You no longer strive for recognition, but act because you know my love is enough. Your life becomes a mirror of grace, where others look and find hope, find light, and glimpse a living faith. Therefore, my child, keep your mind strong in truth. Let it become the foundation of every thought, every decision, every dream. Do not let the world's words make you doubt yourself. Do not let temporary failure make you forget your eternal purpose. Remember, when you think as I think, you open the door to the extraordinary. When you hold to truth, you walk beside inexhaustible strength. And when you do not let go, you prove that faith is not a vague idea, but the very breath of the soul. One day, when you look back on your journey, you will see that change began not with circumstances, but within your own mind. Every step forward, every blessing, every open door started when you chose to think as I think, to live as I teach, and to love as I love. Then you will understand that true power is not in conquering the world, but in conquering yourself, so that your mind is renewed, your spirit stands firm, and your whole life becomes a hymn of praise to everlasting truth. I have never promised that life's trials would vanish, for it is through trial that your soul is refined, your will is tempered, and your faith is proved. What I want you to understand is that when your mind is renewed, the way you face hardship will no longer be the same. You will not tremble, you will not let fear take the reins, and you will no longer see a crisis as an ending. Instead, in every upheaval, you will recognize an opportunity to grow, to discern my hand at work in what appears to be disorder. When you learn to view trial through the eyes of faith, you will see that nothing happens by accident, and that even what wounds you most is serving a greater good you cannot yet perceive. You will realize it is not the outer storm that unmoors you, but the storm within. When your mind has no rest, the smallest change can send you into panic. But when your mind is anchored in me, when your roots go deep in trust of me, then though the waves rise and the wind is strong, you remain steady. You will no longer be alarmed whenever something strays from your plan, because you know I am there, still steering the vessel of your life with unsearchable wisdom. Every disturbance will cease to stir doubt or blame. Instead, you will pause, breathe, and ask me, Lord, what would you have me learn in this? Then trial is no longer an enemy, but a quiet teacher, training you in patience, strengthening your trust, and teaching you to release the old, to receive the new. And you will find that disappointment loses its former power. When someone wounds you, when words pierce your heart, you will not plunge into the pit of bitterness. For you know your worth is not defined by how others treat you, but by me, the one who loved you before you knew how to love yourself. When your mind is renewed, you understand that forgiveness is not weakness, but freedom. You will learn to let go of what is unworthy to dwell in your heart, knowing that every moment you clutch a hurt is a moment you forfeit the peace I long to give. When you face the future, you will not fear as before. The future will no longer be a dark void that feeds anxiety, but a canvas being painted by my loving hand. You will not stand paralyzed in hesitation, for your mind is anchored in trust. You will learn to walk even when you cannot see the whole road, because you know I have gone before to make a way. This is true freedom, freedom from fear, from the need to control, from the demand to understand everything. As you place your trust in me, you will see that every step, however, small leads to something far greater than you imagined. My beloved child, do not underestimate the power of a mind united with truth. When your thinking aligns with what I say, your entire life shifts course. You will begin to see good in desolate places, to recognize the hidden blessing within adversity, and to taste peace even in the storm. Your mind is like a sail. If it is set to the right direction, no matter how fierce the wind, you will move true. But if you allow fear to blow your thoughts adrift, you will never reach the place I intend. Therefore, let your thinking be moored to the truth that I love you, that I am sovereign over all things, that nothing can separate you from my love. Living in that truth, every trial sheds its weight, not because it disappears, but because your vision has changed. You will no longer ask, "Why is this happening?" but "What good can be brought from this?" You will not fear when darkness gathers, for you know that only in darkness does light shine most brightly. You will stand firm in the storm, not because you are stronger than others, but because you know who holds you steady. When your mind abides in me, you begin to live at another frequency, the frequency of peace, of trust, of grace. What once unsettled you will now draw a quiet smile for you. Understand that nothing can cause you to fall when your confidence rests in the one who never changes. You will learn to be calm in chaos, to find joy in trial, and to give thanks in lack. This is true transformation, not of circumstances, but of the soul. Therefore, remember, I do not promise to remove every trial, but I promise to be with you in each one. I do not promise a sea forever calm, but I promise that when your mind is anchored in me, no storm can sink you. For when you are in harmony with truth, you will find yourself lifted above the waves and led farther than you ever thought possible. Believe that I can bring you to places beyond imagining, so long as you keep your thoughts aligned with my light. And as you do, nothing is impossible, for you have become a companion of everlasting power. Many have stopped when they were but one step from the miraculous, not because the road was too hard, but because in their minds they had convinced themselves they could not go on. They let fear defeat faith, let the voices of doubt drown out the call of hope. Before they even stepped forward, they turned back. When the door of opportunity had only just cracked open, they locked it themselves with a key named "not enough." But I say to you, you must not be like them. You were made to be different, to stand as living proof that true strength is not found in circumstances, but in a mind that chooses to believe what I have spoken. I am training you to see what others do not see. Where others see only a wall, I want you to see the hidden door. Where they see an ending, I want you to discern a new beginning waiting to unfold. I teach you to look with the eyes of faith, not with the short-sighted gaze of emotion. For the greatest gift I give you is not an easy path, but vision. Vision that rises above circumstances, beyond limits, beyond even yourself. Each time you learn to think as a child of the King, you receive authority to turn the impossible into possible, to call things that are not as though they were. You are no longer a slave to the past. Do not let old mistakes bind your soul, nor let painful memories blur your sight. What has been is a lesson, not a destiny. You were not born to bow forever in regret, but to lift your head in grace. Remember, I have placed within you the bloodline of a king, the lineage of victory, resilience, and glory. When you see yourself as a beloved child of the heavenly King, you will cease to fear what lies ahead. You will stop belittling yourself in comparison to others. You will understand that your worth does not come from what you possess, but from the one who called you by name and chose you for a noble purpose. I teach you to live in expectation, not a hollow optimism, but a hope with a firm foundation. Expectation is not daydreaming. It is the posture of a mind convinced that good is on the way. Expectation is waking each morning with gratitude, believing that today a wonder will unfold. It is praying not with anxiety, but with the assurance that I am at work even when you cannot see it. It is walking not by shifting feelings, but by the settled conviction of your spirit that I am forever faithful. Expectation holds you steady when others fall. It lets you smile even before the storm has passed, because you know I am the keeper of my word. And that, my child, is what true positivity is not, a forced smile hiding fear, nor empty words of cheer, but a steadfast faith tempered in the storm. Genuine positivity flows from faith, not emotion. It is not blind. It sees reality clearly and still chooses to trust the power that stands above that reality. When you remain positive in trial, you are declaring that fear has no claim over you. You are telling the world that hope still lives, that the light has not gone out, that my hand is moving even in what seems hopeless. True hope does not die, for it is born of faith. It may be tested, delayed, or dusted over by time, but it is never lost, because I myself am its source. When your expectation rests in me, you will find your hope renewed each day like dawn breaking after a long night. I never break my promises. My word never returns empty. Therefore, though you do not yet see, believe. Though you do not yet have give thanks, for you know I am preparing the best for you at the perfect time. Train your eyes to see as I see. Learn to recognize my fingerprints in details that seem small. Perhaps it is a chance meeting, a door that closes, or a single tear that falls, each one held within my larger design. Nothing occurs without meaning. When you grasp this, your heart will trade complaint for gratitude. You will learn to say, I do not understand it all, but I trust. And in that moment you offer the most beautiful faith, the kind that beholds my hand even when the natural eye cannot. Remember, I have not called you to live as one who flees, but to walk in the authority of a child of the King. I want your life to testify to the world that faith is more than words. It is the power that reshapes reality. Live with expectation, with unwavering faith, with eyes that see possibility inside the impossible. For when you dare to think as I think, to believe as I believe, and to act as I have taught you, will cross the threshold of breakthrough, where miracles begin and your life becomes a living witness to the love and power of the Creator. Now open your heart wide, draw a long, deep breath, and offer me your most sincere prayers, that every breath and every heartbeat may blend with my presence. Almighty God, I kneel before you with a heart longing to be renewed. Please teach me to think as you think, so that my mind is no longer dragged about by fear and doubt. Teach me to see your light even in the dark, so I will not stop when the door has not yet opened. O Lord, I do not want to be confined by the limits of fragile humanity. I long to live with a mind made strong, saturated with truth and hope. Remind me each day that I am not a slave to the past, but a beloved child of the King of Heaven. Sow in me steadfastness, that I may know everything I think, speak, and do reflects you. Loving Father, I know there are days when my faith flickers like a candle in the wind. Do not let that light go out, but breathe upon it by your Holy Spirit until a flame of trust and love springs up. When I am weary and want to stop, remind me that I may be only one step away from the threshold of breakthrough. Grant me courage to go on though the road is rough and shadows surround me, for I know you are there holding my hand. May my mind be ever turned toward you, so that no circumstance can make me forget the purpose you have set for my life. Dear Father, I thank you for choosing me out of the multitude. Thank you for seeing in me a worth I myself once failed to recognize. Thank you that you look upon me not through my failures, but through grace. Thank you for teaching me to think as a child of the King and not as a captive to fear. Each day I want to live worthy of that name, the name of a beloved child sent to reflect your light. Lord God of everlasting hope, I thank you for giving me a flame of hope that never dies. Though I pass through failure, I can still see you teaching me something new. Though I suffer loss, I still give thanks, for you are preparing something better. Thank you for teaching me to discern your hand in all things, in joy, in sorrow, and even in what I do not yet understand. I offer you my deepest gratitude, for you are the reason I still stand, still believe, and still love this life. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong and vibrant community of faith.